Today I'm going to be discussing 5 brands I haven't purchased from in a while that I used to buy religiously, and I'm going to tell you why. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then just keep watching. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome and happy 2025. It took me a long time to say that, I have no idea. I hope you guys had a wonderful new year. Hope you had a lovely Christmas. This is actually the first video that I'm filming of this year because I've had a crazy couple of weeks during Christmas. I had COVID, my husband had COVID. Thankfully baby didn't get COVID because we were very careful. We wore masks around him and I felt like utter rubbish. And then during New Year I had my sty finally taken out. I'm so happy, it's healing. So hopefully in the next video or so I can put makeup on both eyes as opposed to just one and looking really weird. But yes, today we're going to be talking about 5 makeup brands that I used to buy religiously and that I would constantly use on this channel. I haven't purchased from them in a while and I kind of wanted to discuss why. This is an idea that I've had for a while but I just kept on putting it off, but now I've got like my 5 brands stuck, and I just want to kind of disclaim that this is no offense to any of the brands. I know a lot of people are big fan of these brands and I love these brands as well, hence why I used to buy them and why I'm talking about them now. So anything that I do talk about is merely from my perspective, of course. Like, these brands are not going to go bankrupt because of someone like me, you know what I mean? Everyone has their own opinions and what they love about certain brands. So this first brand that I'm going to talk about is technically, I have purchased from them but I never got the item. So the first brand that I'm talking about is Made by Mitchell. So bit of a controversial one, but yeah, it's been a while since I've actually picked up anything from his site and I haven't really used anything new on my channel. So anything that I do use by him is stuff that I've had before and stuff that I generally do love. So the last thing that I technically picked up was the advent calendar, and I picked up a Secret Santa as well. So I got this on the TikTok live and I got it the second that it went on sale because I really wanted to get an advent calendar this year. And the only one that I did was the Naked Marshmallow one, which I did on my TikTok, but I really wanted to get the Made by Mitchell one. I technically picked up the 12-day one and I also picked up the Secret Santa that I wanted to get as well, because again, he had mentioned that all these products are brand new and I was super duper excited. But then Amazon delivery decided that they didn't want to deliver my package, and this is the second time that it's happened. Once I think they had like a massive sale and one of their blush Bible kind of things, I purchased it, and again Amazon, I think it's like Amazon Logistics or something, I don't know who they are. I think they're like a delivery service that are part of TikTok, or that they're part of a certain brand and that they deliver it for them. Yeah, so both times they didn't deliver my items, and so I'm kind of putting off buying anything from him because 2 times now and again, I've rarely bought anything from his site, mainly because well, this is actually from TikTok, not his website, because the website obviously doesn't have as many discounts. As he's without a doubt one of the biggest like platformers for beauty, and I always want to support, like I've been supporting him for a long time. Like, I know this is not his fault and I'm just kind of like, it's just something that's really put me off on buying from the brand. And I don't know if on his website he distributes from somewhere else, but obviously again, like I mentioned, TikTok is the main place that everyone goes because of the discounts. And again, a lot of the stuff that he's bringing out is very like, it's the same kind of style again and again, and I really love the kind of various different things that he brings out, the kind of style, and the color packaging and everything is so cool. But I'm just kind of a bit bored of it, and again, purchasing is just such a hassle. Let me know if you've had any of these issues as well, because I mean, I don't know what they'll do if they get enough people to kind of say stop distributing from them, because I mean, when I raised the issue, they actually said that it's from TikTok as opposed to from him, which I found a little bit weird. But I mean, again, TikTok is probably their distributor, so they probably gather everything up and then distribute it via Amazon. But again, it's very frustrating because again, consumers who are wanting to spend their money, and I was so excited to buy this advent calendar because again, you know, I could have picked up this brand or this brand, but I didn't. I picked up the Made by Mitchell one because I love his products and I love the stuff that he brings out. So maybe, you know, in the future if he says, oh, we're not distributing via Amazon, whatever the thing they're called, then I will probably buy something, because again, it's not the brand, it's more like the distributing. But then some of it is the brand. Again, like I mentioned, a lot of their stuff is very samey. It's a little bit like the blushes are great, but I have so many other blushes that I enjoy, so I kind of tend to enjoy them a little bit more. Okay, so the second brand that I want to talk about is very similar to Made by Mitchell. So they have the biggest following on TikTok and around the world, and again, it's very controversial because when you look on their TikTok, when you go on TikTok, there's a lot of videos being made about this brand. Not a lot of positive have come out of them recently. So the brand is P. Louise. So if you've watched my channel for a while, I used to buy from them all the time, not as religiously as some people I've seen, because they have the most ridiculous collection. Like, they're very, very dedicated to this brand, and I understand why. And again, I still have a lot of P. Louise's products. I use them quite regularly, but I really haven't purchased anything since, I was going to say the advent calendar last year, but it was actually the baked bronzer, which I did not like at all because the shade just was white. I thought it was like the second or third shade. It was literally like a pale white shade that didn't show up at all, so it kind of, I felt like I wasted my money on that. But again, it was my own fault for like not shade matching myself properly. But yeah, another reason why I haven't purchased from this brand is because, very similar to Made by Mitchell, where the distribution times are ridiculous. Like, they are so busy and they're so packed that it really, like, the wait time is silly. I've heard that their customer service is terrible, their delivery again is pretty bad, but when it comes to like products and stuff, again, I'm very bored of their bad bitch lip products. Like, literally every single item is affiliated with their lip kind of oils and lip glosses and stuff, and I'm really bored of those, honestly. I feel like they need to kind of branch out a little bit more with their lip products. Like, they are doing, you know, a lot of different things with their lip products, but I feel like they need to branch out a bit, because they've got so many flavors of that freaking lip oil that I really just don't care. Like, I've used so many of them, and I have a few of them. I've been giving them to my niece because she's a really big fan of P. Louise. Like, now it seems like a lot of their makeup is based for a really young audience. Seems like what Paige is going for, because she seems to talk about a lot of her young audiences, and the packaging is very bright and pink and very not child-esque, that's a bit mean to say that, but you can tell that it's for an audience that is quite young. And in my opinion, I mean, I have a boy, so if I had a girl, I wouldn't be putting her in makeup like anytime soon, because again, her makeup isn't like child-friendly makeup, if that makes sense. It's just actual makeup, and a lot of the skincare, young children don't need a crazy amount of skincare anyway, because their skin is so sensitive and it's still growing, and it's still developing as it goes along. But when it comes to, again, the variety of makeup, like, I watched Budget Box unboxing, and a lot of their stuff, I'm so glad I never subscribed to a Budget Box, because it just looks like the same crap every single month. And I know that this is gonna, anyone who watches this who loves P. Louise, I know that they're going to be like, oh, but it's an amazing brand, blah 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 blah. Like I said, it's very religious, like people who love P. Louise. And again, I used to be one of those, not to the big extent, to an extent where I would buy a lot of her stuff, and I do still regularly go on her website or on her TikTok to see any kind of discounts, but nothing is grabbing me. I don't know what it is. Again, I spent so much money on the advent calendar, the first one, that I felt like I probably don't need anything for a while. And it's true, because I've used quite a few things from the advent calendar, but there's only so many times I can use them on my channel or on my TikTok. And it seems like every other day on TikTok there's someone complaining about something. A lot of it is based on her events during Christmas and her little shop that she has in Manchester, and just a lot of like continuing problems, which I love watching. I love a bit of gossip when it comes to me, I tell you. But when it comes to actual like me spending my money, I can't do it. I mean, again, a lot of the stuff that she's bringing out, I have already, like the palettes where you have like multiple size palettes, and there's massive palettes that have at least 2 or 3 of the same shade just under different names, and I still have some of her massive palettes, and I'm not going to throw them away because they're amazing quality. And again, spent my money on it, spent my hard-earned money on it, and again, I just feel like a lot of it is very samey. So if she brings out something crazy ridiculous, like she brings out like a foundation or a concealer or something like that, I would definitely buy one of those, because I feel like it's something that she hasn't released before. So now everything that she is bringing out constantly is still stuff that is out there already. So that was number 2. Number 3 is a brand that I mainly haven't purchased from, is because the shipping is quite expensive, and the brand is Colourpop. So again, I used to religiously buy Colourpop, and I don't remember the last time I actually purchased from them. It was definitely in 2024, because I believe I picked up maybe 1 or 2 things. I think the only time I ever pick up anything is when they do free international shipping, which then makes it worth it, because to get shipping to the UK you either have to spend over £60 or you have to pay the custom fee, which I think is about maybe £13-14, which kind of defeats the purpose of, I don't know, I mean, it's very expensive in my opinion. And you know, credit to Colourpop, they've really reduced their releases, so I do still see that they have, every other week they're coming out with something. But Colourpop used to bring out massive collections like a couple of times a week, and I'm not even exaggerating, I'm actually being quite serious, because people who probably weren't buying Colourpop maybe before probably were not aware as to how much they would release, and it would be insane, because I would constantly just be like, okay, that's the same thing again and again. They just have a new IP. So they're always doing obviously a lot of collaborations. They did like, they're doing a Twilight part 2, like I think it's like what, Breaking Dawn. I'm not really a Twilight fan, so forgive me. And they did a Pokemon one last year, which did super well, because some of this stuff actually looked pretty good, but I'm not really much of a Pokemon fan anymore, so the collection probably wasn't really for me. But what I'm kind of getting at is that, okay, they've calmed down a lot of their stuff, but some of their stuff doesn't really appeal to me as much. I really do kind of like the look of some of their new blushes and highlighters and stuff. Like the packaging is probably more what I'm excited about as opposed to the actual product. Yeah, again, I just wish the international shipping wasn't so insane, otherwise I probably would buy from them more frequently. I don't have the funds to be spending £60 per transaction, especially if it's a couple of things that I really like, and majority of the time they have stuff in stock, unless it's any of their collaborations which sell out super quickly. So brand number 4 is KVD. So I mean, I think this might be quite similar for a lot of people, because I remember back in the day I would buy a lot of KVD, and I think the last thing I might have purchased from them might have been their Good Apple foundation, and I'm not even joking, because they're coming out with stuff every so often, but they don't promote it very well. The only time I see anything is on the Boots website, or if I see anything in the Boots store. I know recently, I mean it's probably not recently, it was like probably like half a year ago, they came out with the blush duos. So you got like the 2 cream blushes, which look really nice, but it was like £30+ for that, and I thought, I'm okay. And I mean, they are a brand that I used to absolutely love, even when it was Kat Von D. I love how different it was, how innovative it was, and just how kind of alternative it was, because I love that whole style. And even now, some of the stuff is very similar, but they just kind of dumbing it down quite a lot. And I don't know if they're going to be maybe a brand that will probably call it a day in 2025, because again, I rarely see anything new by them. And again, the price wise, even in Boots, like sometimes Boots do like 15% off or 20% off, and even then I'm like, no, it's okay, I don't need it, I don't really, it's not appealing to me, or it's not kind of like gripping me, the fact that I really want to buy it. But I just used to really love KVD, and they just haven't done anything to wow me. I absolutely still love their liner. Like their liner is going to be one of the greatest liners to ever come out in makeup history. I know that's being a bit dramatic, but I really love their eyeliner, and you know, their liquid lipsticks as well, fantastic. Foundations, amazing. Again, they have such a back catalogue of great stuff, but I just don't feel like anything now for me is worth getting. And again, I don't even remember seeing online the last thing they brought out. And even during Christmas they had a couple of bundles, but they were quite boring in my opinion. Like, I don't feel like they were ones that I would care about much. And so the last brand I want to talk about is Be Perfect. So again, I own pretty much nearly everything that they have on their website, apart from recently they've come out with some lip products, some eyeshadow palettes here, this and that, and it's the same thing. It really is. I feel like the same thing, and I know this whole video is like a rant, because it's again products that I feel like I don't need, and brands that I used to absolutely love and adore, and that are just doing the same thing again. I know sometimes makeup can be very kind of like not limited, but the thing is with makeup you can do so much. It's such a big world out there of makeup, but it's what the brands bring out that kind of grip me, and if it's different then that's amazing. I want to try it. But the last thing I think I've purchased from Be Perfect was they did like a little collaboration with an influencer. Forgive me, I don't even know the influencer, I didn't follow them, but they were raising money for a charity that was supporting Palestine. So I was kind of like, yep, I'm gonna give them my money, because yeah, I think it was like an eyeshadow palette, an eyeliner, and maybe one other thing, and the proceeds, the 100% of the proceeds went to a certain charity. So I was like, yep, I'm gonna get it, because I like the look of the palette. I think it was like a mini nudes palette and something like that, and I'm like, this is stuff that I can use, and I haven't purchased from them since, and that was like half a year ago. And now bringing out stuff, they're doing collaborations and they're doing this and that, and I think it's grabbing me. I really wanted to get what their lip library, I think it was, they're kind of like liquid lipsticks and lip liners, but I have so many other products that are very similar, and of course I haven't tried the formula, but it's fine. I don't really need them, and they are constantly doing like massive discounts, like 80% off and 70 and 60% off, which is great. But I don't really feel like I need anything, because all the stuff that I have by them are still perfect. Their eyeshadow palettes are amazing, their foundation and primer and yeah, lip products are great. That's all I can kind of need from these brands. There isn't anything that they've brought out recently that pops in my head. So that's kind of my idea of, you know, why I've kind of calmed down from these certain brands. And it's not just these brands in general, it's a lot of brands. But the thing is, I am trying to use different brands in like 2025, but I've also had to reduce what I'm buying, because my income isn't as big as it has been previously, because being on maternity leave is pretty bad in the UK. Like, you just get a fraction of what you were paid, so it's a massive struggle. And of course, me buying makeup is a luxury for myself. It's my hobby. This is not a job, this is a hobby, and me making these videos is a hobby, and me having to kind of watch what I need to buy is super important, because makeup is not a necessity, it's a passion, because I have so much makeup already. I'm gonna be doing a project pan this year, which, spoilers, I should have probably saved that for that video, but it's fine. And yeah, let me know what you thought of this video. Is there any brands that you have calmed down from purchasing, and why? Because I would really like to know. And thank you so much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this style of video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, because I film and upload every time I get a chance to. Don't forget to follow me on any of my social medias, because I'm always active on there, and appreciate you sitting down and listening to me ramble on. I hope you have a lovely 2025. Bye guys.